All right, I'm gonna make a bit of a longer video here, but if you're into deep basement suite details, stick around. So normally I don't do very long walkthroughs. They're usually pretty quick and to the point, but I know a lot of people are asking a lot more questions about the specific details of actually getting one of these suites built. So I thought I would actually just take the time on this project to give a scoop on all of the different aspects of a basement suite project. So right off the hop, this is our separate entrance. It's right off the back of the house. It comes into a little foyer that goes up to the main dwelling and into the basement suite. In this separate entrance, there's a space heater located right there, as the common area cannot be heated by either furnace. Just to touch on all these doors, they are all solid core 1 3/4 doors, complete with spring hinges. So that way the common area is separated from each dwelling. So right here, you'll see our self-closing hinges in action. Door should close all by itself, as it does. And one thing we do that not everyone does is we gasket all our jambs. So that way they're nice and tight, but we don't put a door sweep at the bottom. Perfect. One more extremely beneficial aspect of this basement suite was we were able to work in a common mechanical room door. So it's not always possible, but in this case, both the upstairs tenant and the downstairs tenant, you'll see they have a separate door as well, but have access to the mechanical room. So that way both tenants can access the furnaces, the electrical panel, the hot water heater, everything like that. In the event that something needs maintenance, you don't need to get separate access from one tenant. All right, into the bedroom. So we cut in big 48 by 30 egress windows here, include steel window wells. These all have PVC trim on the outside. And yeah, that makes our bedrooms code compliant for egress access. And that goes for the other bedroom as well. Another requirement for these basement suites is the ceiling in its entirety, whether it's under the stairs, in camp room like that, it has to be covered in 1/2 inch drywall. And then also you're gonna put resilient channel and 6 inches of insulation. So you'll see here, this is the understair storage closet and it is completely drywalled. You'll see here, we also have smoke detectors here and they are also in both of the bedrooms. These are all hardwired and interconnected. So that way, if a smoke detector goes off downstairs, it will go off upstairs as well. Got our kitchen exhaust here. There is ducted outdoors just behind this box here, but there are CFM requirements for these exhaust hoods, so you have to stay within a certain range, otherwise you're gonna need makeup air, and then you might even need heated makeup air depending on how big of a range hood you put in. So if you stay under, I believe it's 200 CFM, then you can get away without doing all the makeup air. All right, heading on over here, we have a big return air grill, ventilation switch for the furnace, thermostat for the furnace, both just for the furnace serving the basement suite. We also have our doorbell up there. And we have this door here. This is actually a door to the mechanical room as well. And you'll notice that we actually have another deadbolt facing into the mechanical room. And the purpose of that is if someone were in here coming from the other door, that way they can't actually enter into the suite, so they can only stay in the mechanical room. Speaking of, we are in our mechanical room that is fully smoke sealed. You'll see here, we got all our penetrations fire stopped and extra drywall as well. On this project, actually, we put in a tankless hot water here. This is just serving the basement. Not a requirement by code, but is nice to have. So we got a nice gas line, water all roughed in cleanly. We put a stainless, or not stainless, but a tin backer along the wall just to clean up the install, and where condensate goes to drain. All right, so here's our separate furnaces. So this is our new basement suite furnace, high efficiency Lennox, lead by Roger that HVAC. This is the original furnace to the house. So we deleted all the ducting that served the basement to make sure that this only serves the upstairs now, and our new furnace will just serve our basement. We got a fresh air damper hiding up there where our fresh air intake is. Jumping over to our electrical. So there's a 100 amp service in this house. There's no AC, no hot tub, no car charge or anything like that. So you can do a basement suite with separate laundry. There is laundry actually upstairs. This laundry will just be for the basement tenant. So you can do an entire basement suite under a 100 amp service. So we have our old original panel here, and then we added this sub panel here, and keeps all our circuits separate as well for the basement suite and upstairs. Last thing for the mechanical room being, we talked about this hot water here. Here's the original hot water heater, just a 40-gallon atmospheric vented tank. And you'll see the amount of fire stopping we had to squeeze in back here to smoke seal this area. So this room is passed. It's It's nice and tightly sealed. And yeah, this is how we like to complete our mechanical rooms. Nice fire stopping everywhere. One thing we still need to do is label some of these valves. So these are valves for the hose bibs outside. Here's actually our main shutoff for just the basement suite as well, so it can be separately isolated. You'll see back there, that's the city's shutoff. But yeah, we'd like to keep these valves nice and low. That way they don't get in the way of the smoke seal. And I know they're against the frost wall here, but this is a conditioned space, so it'll never freeze in here. All right, lastly, one thing you can't see as it's long gone, but was in the mechanical room, was our backflow prevention. So it's just where our drainage ended up laying out. But all basement suites by code need to have backflow prevention, an independent backflow prevention. It can't just be one main backflow preventer for the entire house. And that's in the hypothetical situation where maybe your basement suite tenant went on vacation for 2 weeks, there's a backup in the main line, and your upstairs dwelling is just using the bathroom as normal. 2 weeks go by, they never knew there was a backup, and they could just be filling this basement up with sewage because they had no idea that there's a backup, and it's just feeding into the basement instead. So put backflow preventers in, they get passed at plumbing roughing inspection. Sometimes you'll see them under sinks and stuff like that, depending on layout, because I'll just switch around here, but because the toilet and the shower, for example, these are under the concrete, they're drainage wise, because we're in a basement. So the only way to get the backflow prevention in for those is in slab, but in your sink, your kitchen sink, your laundry, for example, you can put all those backflow preventers above grade, depending on your layout. Sometimes you can catch them all with one branch, and sometimes you have to, maybe it doesn't work out, and it's just simpler, rather than chipping up the concrete out of the entire space just to throw in a couple backflow preventers, you can put them in above grade on these items, and then they're even more serviceable. So I think that wraps up our detailed review of this basement suite. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, DM me, text me, call me, whatever's easiest. Happy to chat about it. We're definitely experts in the space. We know how to get these jobs done, and done to the standards that we believe are some of the highest in the city. And yeah, I mean, these older homes are definitely a little bit more challenging to get these projects put in. You have slightly lower ceilings with the bulkheads compared to a lot of the new construction. However, they're definitely feasible. There's a lot of bungalows with these walkout side entrances that make it very conducive to putting basement suites in. So if you're in the process of purchasing, or in the process, or you already have a house and you just have underutilized space that you want to potentially make another $1,500 to $2,000 a month, yeah, reach out. We're happy to chat about your options to put a basement suite in.